Here.
Rick Flynn. Mike Burns.
Here.
David Pike.
Present.
Bob McAfee.
Here.
LaDonna Allen.
Here.
Roger Smith.
Here. Will you all please stand and join me in our pledge of allegiance and the invocation? You gonna do it, Steve?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eternal God, as we begin another session of the Carl Junction Board of Alderman, we ask that you arouse in our hearts a hunger and thirst for justice and peace, so that our actions will be guided by the desire to secure justice and equality for every member of our community. Amen.
Thank you, Steve. Next is approval of the agenda. Are there any comments or changes to the agenda?
Move we approve the agenda.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by Spencer to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. I guess that'd be 6 in the affirmative, it's 7. 7 in the affirmative with 1 absent. The agenda is approved. Next is the consent agenda, which is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting and approval of our disbursements. Are there any comments, questions, or changes to the consent agenda?
Move we approve the consent agenda.
Second. Motion by Donna Allen, second by David Pyle. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative with 1 absent. The consent agenda is also approved. Next is public forum. Would anyone like to speak at public forum? Neither one of you? Help. Very well, then we'll move right along.
That was short and sweet.
Yes, it was. Next is something that we don't have to do, Mr. Talley told me, but I would like your consent. I had to sign an emergency declaration to repair the water pump on well number 2, and he said they pulled it, and what did they find out?
They haven't pulled it yet. They moved in today.
Oh, okay.
They started it work today.
So we don't really know what it's going
They
to cost.
know that it's a problem with the pump down on the bottom of the well, so they haven't pinpointed it yet.
So I would really like to approve this, although you don't need to.
Make a motion, we ratify the emergency declaration. Second.
Motion by David Pyle, second by Roger Spencer, that you ratify my emergency declaration for the water pump at well number 2. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative with 1 absent. Thank you very much. Next is an ordinance amending chapter 708 water.
Move we put this ordinance on first reading by title only.
Second.
Motion by Don Allen, second by Holly Levine, to put this ordinance on the first reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance amending Title 7 Utilities, Chapter 705 Water, Article 1, General Provisions, by amending Section 705-140, Construction of Lines and Maintenance Installation Fee, to increase connection fees generally and to impose new connection and construction fees if the extension is beyond 25 feet or if a street crossing for the connection is required.
Discussion?
This is the final iteration of this. It went to the code committee twice to make some changes. We were, as you can see, losing quite a bit of money every time we did a new hookup. Price of meters and MXUs and just everything in general has went really high. We have not increased them for several years, and Jay brought me the sheet on what it is. So that's about what it costs. That'll make us break even on them. Anyway, make just a little bit off of that, but not much.
Oh, you want to break even.
So, and then what we did add, we didn't have it before, was that paragraph B, we never had a way of charging people more if we had to either bore the street, cut the street, however, to get up to the other side of the street to put a meter in. We always just bore that cost. And it's a whole lot more expensive to go across the street than it is on the same side as the main. So we've added that now, so if somebody has to have one on the other side, we're be prepared for it.
And code approved it?
Code committee approved it, yes, recommended approval.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Make a motion, we put it on second reading by title only.
Second.
Motion Motion by Roger Spencer, second by Holly Levine, to put this ordinance on the second reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance amending Title 7 Utilities, Chapter 705 Water, Article 1 General Provisions by amending Section 705-140 Construction of Lines and Maintenance Installation Fee to increase connection fees generally and to impose new connection and construction fees if the extension is beyond 25 feet or if a street crossing for the connection is required.
Is there any further discussion?
Move we put this ordinance on final passage.
Second.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by David Butler, put this ordinance on final passage. This is a hand vote to go to electronic voting. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative, 1 absent. Please vote electronically. 7 in the affirmative with 1 absent. The ordinance passes. That's ordinance number
That ordinance number 3326.
326. Thank you very much. Next is the administration report. Do you have any comments on the report or questions for the city administrator
He's always,
or gripes?
he's always on vacation.
That's what I heard. You're not going again till when? Next week?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Anything for the city administrator? How about a report on the splash pad, just for the heck of it?
It's up and running. They were doing final dirt work, topsoil around it today. And doing they formed up for the pads.
I went by, I think Sunday when I got home.
Yep.
So, yeah. Or it was Monday, I started talking.
Yeah, it was pretty funny yesterday afternoon when I was out there and they were adjusting everything, adjusting the flows and moving some of the nozzles so that we were making sure we were squirting in towards the pad and everything. And there was a little boy across the street and he just sat out there at the street watching us as we were doing it the whole time. And he was there I was there about 15 minutes and he was still there when I left. So.
I bet it was the same way, and then when I left for work and I headed home, I saw 2 kids play already. I saw 2 this afternoon too.
Good.
Well, if they use that one like they do over in Webb City.
Yeah.
It's gonna be well worth it.
There is a new item on there for discussion, item number 7.
Mhm. Yeah.
Renee brought an idea to me the other day about doing a quarterly coffee and donuts with the alderman on a Saturday morning, trying to get people more engaged. Bring us your ideas. You know, since I've been involved in city government, the biggest problem they always have is the citizens don't feel like we reach out to them enough. Regardless of what is thought about that, you know, and so we want to open up a type of a forum where we can maybe guide the discussion a little bit, but we want to get their ideas also. We've talked amongst all of us about what to do with the old swimming pool with Bulldog Beach. Well, that's a big decision for all of us. We want to get as much citizen input on that as possible. We also want to get, you know, maybe they have some things that they would like to see that we could plan for in the future that we could actually do. That way we're not working in a vacuum and we're getting input. Now, you also got to be prepared for somebody will come in with an off the wall question. Well, how come my neighbor gets to have a snake in his backyard and I can't? You know, something like that, whatever it is. But you have to be prepared for that type of thing too. Pretty easy to do. The mayor and I talked a little bit about it, and we thought doing it either that 3rd or 4th Saturday on a quarterly basis. That way it's in between meetings, so we can get it out again the first meeting of the month, have the public forum then on that Saturday after, and then maybe have a little bit of a report back for the whole council again on, the meeting after that. Just another way of getting some citizen engagement, getting some input from them on projects. I started today, Elena, because we do have a lot of things planned, and keeping track of them has gotten harder and harder. So I started putting a list together, a quick list together today of the projects that we got going on now, and future projects, and I'll be bringing that to you guys later so that we can get it kind of prioritized, because what I think is important is different than what you think is important, which is.
That's why I wanted the long-term project list.
It is, but that's really, I've kind of geared that report to a project that's going,
Yeah, I know.
and not the planning side of it, so. I think that's probably what we'll do for some guided questions for citizen input, is using that for projects and stuff, and just generally, they need to know who we are.
That's something you and I have talked about this. I've thought about something like this for quite a while, but like I say, because everybody's like, well, we have no idea what's going on.
You know what? And there's times where nobody's going to show up, and there's times that it might be Carol and Richard show up.
Yeah, and like I say, we'd like to have everybody show up, but obviously people have things to do. And
Yeah.
some of us are gonna miss some of the Saturdays too.
Yeah.
We don't have as many as we can either.
But the more you do it and word gets out, people will start to show up.
Yes.
At first, maybe not, but people get used to it and they'll start showing up. So,
Well, some might just want to know what's going on in the city.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing on, Manal?
Well, that's kind of like, Richard brought the thing up here, that, not many people know about splash pad.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about it in meetings. But nobody listens to the meetings, obviously. Nobody gets online and looks at what's going on in the, we have two tonight, two today. Yeah, two people listen to the meeting. That's pretty bad. And so they're not, well, we got two in the audience and two online. We know what's going to go on now.
Yeah.
That's what we got to try and do. So we need to get it out so people know what's going on. And if they don't like it, they need to tell us. That's what it's all about.
No, their input's better than nothing.
One thing I talked to Steve about while I was gone last week, all of a sudden the pool at the CID, in 2 days, the Amish put up a pavilion.
Yeah.
And it looks like a very good design for the one we might want to have at Lakeside. So I would like to have all you guys just go by and look at it. You can park in the parking lot by the tennis courts and see it over there. It looks like it's very sturdy and it's not very big. It was like $6,000, right? Or 6 or 8.
$8,000.
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to have you guys look at it if you have time.
Would fit very well into that pavilion, would match great down there with the way the front
With the
of
way
the
the front-
clubhouse building looks,
Yeah.
with the timbers and everything.
Looking for this.
But yeah,
check it out.
Anything else?
no, sir.
Very well then.
I think we'll get that first one scheduled in June.
Okay. Okay, then, moving right along, we go to the treasurer's report. We have the treasurer's report in the packet. Something that Mary Beth started doing when she was treasurer, which is really good. I'm glad she's doing that. Any comments about the treasurer's report? Very well then, we'll move on to department reports. I'm going to go to Public Works first. I think we have an all-time low on shut-offs,
17.
17.
That wasn't disconnections, that was people moving in and out.
Oh, where's the disconnections?
I don't think it's on there this time.
You mean we didn't have any?
Oh, we had to, if only that were the case.
And I was all excited. I thought
I'm
people were
sorry.
finally paying.
You know what, I will ruin it for you next time. I'll just be like, yeah, only 17.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any comments about the Public Works report? Very well then.
It's been quite busy at Public Works. It seems like things have broken a lot lately.
And they're putting the fiber optic in there, breaking even more of them.
Yeah, they punched a sewer line over, they punched a sewer line at Grimes and Canal.
That's what that was.
Never fails. Very well then. Now we'll go to PD. I think you want to talk to us, don't you, Mark?
Depends on what you want to talk about.
Number 3.
I want to talk about Officer
We want to talk
Conway.
about Danny.
Yeah, Danny has been stepping up to the plate pretty much. Officer Castleberry's been off for quite a while for some medical, and he's been doing the schools and street both. And as you know, last time we talked about the possible active shooter that wound up not being, but he was the first one in to start clearing the buildings by himself. This time got sent to the domestic call and wound up being an overdose of a early 20s female. She was unconscious, not breathing, face and lips were blue when he got there, which is common signs for fentanyl or any opioid. So he administered Narcan, which usually takes effect pretty quick, but because she wasn't breathing, it didn't immediately take effect. He started chest compressions. Apparently that got the Narcan going and brought her back. Fire and EMS got there and took over and got her to the hospital. She's alive today.
Good.
I'm pretty convinced that she would not be alive if he hadn't done what he did.
I think you're right.
I think we need to
We need to recognize him some way.
Yeah, I will be giving him a letter of commendation, life-saving award.
Okay. You want to do it here?
Yeah, that's what I
Good,
plan on.
good. Yes, please do that.
Next meeting.
For, on the downside of that, it's a really good indicator. Fentanyl's here. You know, people will say, well, we're too small for that, nope, it's here.
Across the country, it's being cut with marijuana. Now that marijuana is legal, we're going to start seeing more and more of it. We've already seen the uptick in juveniles at the junior high and high school, bringing marijuana to school, being under the influence. It's just a matter of time before we start getting some bad stuff going on. So.
I was talking with the chief today and reminded him that, what was it, a 1 week, 2 week period here a few months ago, they took 324 grams of fentanyl off the street in Carroll Junction. 2 different people, 162 grams.
Sure.
Enough to kill everybody in town, obviously.
Yep. All right then. Anything else for the chief? Tell him we really appreciate what he does, please. And I think that's it for department reports. Building inspector is next week. Let's head off into committee reports. Budget and finance.
Really don't have anything to report, except I would like to confirm, since we ratified your decision earlier, we do have funding available through the R&R, water R&R account, so it won't be a problem to pay for the pump repairs.
Yeah. $70,000, whatever it's gonna be.
And we'll still be sending pretty good to start our MPUA payments, because we had accrued money for that. So.
Anything else for budget? Code and nuisance. Rick isn't here. Bob's here.
I don't think,
Bill's here. Roger's here. You got anything?
we met on that bill that we just passed.
Okay. Good. Anything for code? Anybody want to say anything about code? Nope. We'll move along to human resources then.
Nothing.
Very good. Public facilities, Mike?
I have nothing to report, sir.
Okay. Let's go to unfinished business. Holly?
No, sir.
Bob? Roger? I have nothing. Ladonna?
Oh, no.
For unfinished, what are we doing with pavilions at Memorial? Have we made a decision? Do we need to make a decision pretty quick since we're doing the pads? Are we still waiting on some more information, or where are we at on that?
Up to you. If you guys make a decision, we've given you as much information as what has been requested. If you want to move forward with the pavilions that Crystal had found, yes.
I have to admit, I was a little skeptical when I heard a carport company. But then when you described, and then we saw the pictures with the pitched roof and not the curb. To me, it looks almost like the Jean Roy Pavilion. I mean,
And it's gonna be the same colors.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it'll have a red
And-
roof and blue ends and white.
like you say at first, and I didn't say anything. I, reserved anything until I saw them, but in the back of my mind, I was kind of like, why? But like I said, once I saw them, and I think from the ratings and stuff you talked about the win rate, I think they would be durable. I personally, I was telling the mayor, you see those a lot of times at lakes, at resorts and different stuff where they have picnic areas, and I think it would be a good option for the money.
What's the cure time on the cement?
Concrete to build on is a minimum of 7 days.
Okay.
It dries in 24 to 48 hours, but that doesn't mean that you can build on it. It's 7 days cure.
Cement don't get its cured for 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a maximum of 75%, and then it takes years for it to go
And
down.
when are they gonna pour?
Probably tomorrow. I'll have to look when I go back, from home. He was forming it up today, so.
Mike, you got a problem with any of this?
The problem I have is the contract that we were agreeing on here. It said, I will pour a pad. That's it. And I just don't, I didn't feel right saying yes to this. I have no idea what this means. We have no details on any sort of specifications on that other than I will pour a pad. I mean, that's what the contract said. And so I just think if we could have some sort of details, that would be nice to know what I was voting on. That's what I was kind of
What
concerned
about the pavilion? Pavilions, you got a problem with those?
Well, I feel like we're kind of, and maybe not because we've been thinking about splash pad for a year, but at this point I feel like it seems rushed to me. It's not what we initially thought we were getting pavilion. And now this is plan B, and maybe plan B is fine. But I feel like we're going with plan B only because we feel like we're under a time constraint.
We are. It's gonna open. I mean, people are using it right now. That's the problem.
And I agree what you say about it. It does seem like we're at the 11th hour and we're rushed, but I think a lot of that falls back on probably everybody because, like say, we've talked about it for 2 years. We've at least 2 years. We approved it, a year and a half ago. I mean, it's kind of, you're right. We're down to the 11th hour. It should have been followed through and taken, and we should have got the bids in, and we should have had the meetings, and we should have approved everything. But at this point, I think it is a good option. And
No, we didn't really approve the pavilions until what, a month ago?
Yeah.
That's when we approved the pavilions. And then,
but I mean,
They
as
backed
far as
out
the
on us.
splash pad itself, I
yeah,
mean,
we didn't
See,
we didn't
shade
think about shade.
right,
initially.
right. So,
Yes.
and we're trying to get, I know, I had some conversation today with some people about trying to get word out temporarily, short term, tell people if they can bring any kind of shading or anything, let them know it's not up. But it's going to get very hot. And it is a busy time of year for construction. I think if we start talking to construction companies and contractors, and I think they're going to want projects they're going to have a big return and get big projects. I don't know.
Well, yeah, how many bids did we get in for this when we went out for bid? One, and then he backed out.
And they backed out.
Can we go look at the structure at Briarbrook? Would that be an option?
It doesn't really fit the theme because it's wood
It's
and
timber. It's a timber wood
I think
instead.
the,
Yes. We don't have anything down here that is timber construction at Memorial Park.
yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Crystal, you sent out a deal to us of $6,000, right? 68 something.
Yes.
Is that for both of them or one?
Both of them.
Okay, so the 68 covers both pads. And how big a pad are they?
12 by 20.
Pretty good size.
How's the height under those? I felt like it looked so low.
About 8 foot.
8 foot.
Is that low? That seems low.
It's like the ceiling in the house.
Ceiling in the
Sit on
house.
your house.
Yeah, they're for outside.
Don't worry, you can't bump your head on it.
So what do you guys want to do?
Well, they're already forming them.
I'm not
Yeah,
worried about the
Pads.
pads.
Yeah.
4 week.
I'm worried about
4 weeks lead time.
Yeah.
the pavilions themselves.
Are they gonna put the pavilions up too?
No, the ones that we had found were the pavilion and for that company to install.
It's free installation.
Okay.
And also, like I mentioned, also, I think if we agreed on this pad, we're kind of agreeing that we're going with this pavilion, I think. I mean, I'm sure you could build any pavilion on a pad, but it's not like
That's exactly
designed
right.
for that.
Exactly right.
If we were going to go with pavilion B, we may have made a different pad with a thicker, footer or something like that, or the anchors in different locations or something like that. I mean, I feel like we're kind of a little bit.
No, these
Stuck
are a
with
mono. These are a mono port with a lip on them, and so it doesn't matter what you put on top of it. It's still got a lip on it that goes down on the edges for it. And they drill it and tab it for the concrete anchors. And it really and it's going to be 4 inches thick. It's going to be sidewalk. It's actually going to be better than sidewalk because it does have that little bit of a foundation under the edges. So it's, do you want them or not? Yes or
Yeah,
no?
that's it. You want them or not? We're gonna go on and we won't have anything. Whatever you're gonna do.
Well, I gave my opinion on them. I mean, like I said, I had reservations at first, but then I saw them and then I went back and thought, I have seen those type in several.
Well, I saw the pictures. I thought they were fine.
Like I say, a lot of times like resort, different stuff like that, you see that type of pavilion. So personally, I'm in favor of it.
Well, we have to have a motion for you to.
I would,
Are the covers 12 by 20 also?
Yes.
So you think that it should be maybe where they built the concrete might ought to be a little deeper, they can dig it a
That's,
little deeper.
they will be.
They will be. Yeah.
That's that lip that I was talking about where it's
Okay,
the
so
edges.
Okay.
well, I move that we go ahead and check through the purchase. I know you gotta get the lead time and stuff, but I make a motion that we go ahead and purchase the 2 pavilions in the color scheme that matches the splash pad.
I second.
Motion by Don Allen, second by Bob McAfee, that we purchase the 2 pavilions that matches our color scheme and put them on the pads. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4 in favor. All those opposed, same sign. 4 to 1, is that right? You voted for it, didn't you? You voted for it?
Yeah.
I guess I missed that then. 3.
I went for it.
It was 5-1 and an abstention. Okay. So it passes. And that was your unfinished business.
That was mine. I'm finished with unfinished.
You're finished with unfinished? Okay, Mike, go for it.
I don't believe I have any.
Bill? David?
There was mention earlier of the pool issue, which is obviously significant, and I'm curious about potentially in the relatively near future, getting a public facilities committee meeting together specifically to focus on that and how we might approach problem solving that issue moving forward.
Yeah, because we're gonna have a liability issue. That's really a problem. Well, let's see. Once you talk to the committee chairman, he'll call one.
Well, did you say, Steve, that the first donuts and with the alderman was going to be in
June
June?
24th, I think is what it is.
June 4th?
24th.
Oh, June 24th.
Let me,
Can we wait till after that? Again, I think that's something that I'd like to get community involvement, and I don't know if
I like your draft. Good
that
idea.
would be a good idea. Be something that, again, we may not have anybody there to.
we could either do it on the 17th or the 24th, would be no problem. The 17th falls in between the two meetings. Well, that's another thing we can talk about, that June 6th meeting, so I'd say the 24th is probably, and we can start getting it advertised, get it out through the chamber and get it on Facebook.
Anybody that, so we'll plan a public facility meeting, then we'll talk about it again at our next meeting.
June
But
6th.
anybody else that's, I know, active on social media and sometimes meets with their constituents that way, I guess that's something that definitely like to start getting feedback on is the pool, and if everybody has strong thoughts, you're going to get some strong thoughts, I'm sure, but you might just start exploring what people are thinking out there, and that way we can.
Ask them to bring their ideas with them.
Absolutely.
Tell us in advance.
I will tell you, when we get calls in City Hall, and we have got multiple calls about the pool this year, probably 80% of the people I've talked to, when we tell them what we've looked at and what the estimate was of the repairs, have asked, are we looking at a way to fund it? So most of the people that call are at least in favor of trying to find a way. I mean, I've even asked people if we've thought about passing another
What time?
bond issue. So the people that have called,
What time Saturday?
for the most part, seem to be interested in at least looking at it. So,
8 o'clock Saturday morning, the 24th, that work for whoever could be there.
Yeah, this is a voluntary thing.
What are you, a dairy farmer?
No, that would have been 6 o'clock.
No,
Okay.
try 5.
And it will just be in like the senior center?
In the senior center.
Anything else, David?
No.
Unfinished, Mr. Talley?
No.
Elena?
no, sir?
Crystal?
No, sir.
Steve?
A couple of things. The June 6th meeting, I will be gone. Will you be here on June 6th? Yeah,
That's very much in doubt.
okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
And
But
are
we-
you going to be here, Mark? Or somebody else was going to be
No, I'm
gone?
gonna be here.
Wasn't it Rick?
Well, if I'm still
I'll be
alive.
back.
You'll be back?
I think we should.
I
It might have been Rick.
think Rick was gonna be gone.
Yeah. So do you want to move that meeting to the week after, or just go ahead and hold it?
I think we should go ahead and hold,
Okay,
because that's 2 weeks from now.
okay. And then also, unless you're feeling absolutely 100% patriotic, the July 4th meeting. We
I will
probably
be
ought to move-
gone, and I will be gone that day.
Yeah, we need to move that one to probably the week after, Tuesday, 11th.
The 11th.
Yeah, that will take a motion.
Make a motion, we move the July 4th meeting to July 11th.
Second.
Second it.
Motion by David Biles, second by Don Allen, that we move the July 4th meeting to July 11th. All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative, 1 absent. That has been moved. Now I gotta change the date on my phone. Sorry. Oh, that didn't take long, did it? Okay. It has been moved. Okay, who are we? We're Steve. Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Any unfinished business, Mark? New business, David?
No, Mayor.
Bill? Nope. Mike?
I don't believe so.
So Donna?
No, sir.
That's something I was gonna talk about. I can't remember what it was. I'm getting old. It's not very important.
And then you did.
I have nothing then.
Nothing.
Good,
Yeah, I would just like to say on Saturday, with the soccer players, I know they didn't play this week, but I guess you guys put out the portable strips or
Jay did it.
speed.
Jay did, yeah.
I think
So
that'll
wait,
help.
I didn't know anything about it. I got calls on it.
But I think that will help slow it down.
We'll get you in the loop next time.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do it this Thursday because that's the last day of soccer until the fall.
But it slowed me down when I was going.
Good.
Your golf cart don't go that fast.
I mean, you get those cars go along there 45 miles an hour. Is that it?
Yep.
That's what I was gonna talk about. Strips. I'm glad you did,
It
because
was
I forgot.
Good move, whoever put those in.
Holly?
That's it.
Mr. Tapley?
Yeah.
Lana?
No, sir.
Crystal?
No, sir.
Steve?
No, sir.
New business, Mark?
Nope.
Is there any other business before the council?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Don Allen, second by Roger Spencer, that we adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative with 1 absent. We are adjourned. I'd like to thank both of you for attending tonight.
Thank you for your support.
You didn't ask Richard if he had anything
We don't have a senior commission.
We don't have one.
anymore.
No.
Oh, why?
I
He
was
must have
gonna
been
ask
gone that
Richard
day.
what he bought the other day.